Welcome to the Sweep College Baseball Series predictions. Now heading into week 5, we have an insane slate of college baseball series coming up for the next week. Obviously, conference play now right in the thick of things with SEC just starting this week, and now SEC games going into their second conference week. So really starting things off with a bunch of heaters. First off, we have number 7 Texas A&M going to number 10 Florida. Florida been struggling recently. Texas A&M has looked insanely hot, even though they haven't faced maybe the best competition. But beating Texas midweek in a pretty dominant fashion the past week really gave me a lot of confidence in just the overall ability of this Texas A&M squad. Before the season, we thought their pitching was the question mark, but their pitching has looked super solid so far this year, and Florida just hasn't hit the consistency that we've seen from them, especially the past year, where they have just been like a dominant force at the top of the top 25. This year, definitely dropping back a little bit and just not looking like that team that we saw last year. And for that reason, I'm going to be taking Texas A&M on the road.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with Texas A&M as well here. For some reason, something in my gut tells me that Florida maybe gets things on the right track this weekend and kind of proves everyone wrong and proves that they are a legitimate contender. But I'm gonna stick with Texas A&M just based off what I've seen and what my eyes tell me. I think they're just playing better baseball right now, at least going into this weekend.
Yeah, and from what we've seen the past few weeks, if we both pick the same team, likelihood is that that team's going to lose the series. So put your money on Florida now. But now jumping to the second series. For our predictions, we have number 4 Wake Forest at number 16 Virginia. I think both these teams have been playing relatively well. Wake Forest maybe not as good as we expect them to be playing, but just going against Duke last week, seems like their offense started to get some sort of momentum there, even though they lost the series at home. Feel like they definitely have the edge versus a Virginia team that maybe the top few ACC teams have a little bit of separation in comparison, and Virginia is just in that second tier. So I feel like Wake Forest will rebound and get a good series win here.
Yeah, I got Wake Forest bouncing back as well here. I don't think there's going to be very many weekends where you see Josh Hartle only go a couple innings and not really take control of the game on Friday night. Wake Forest fell victim to that performance this past weekend. Give a lot of credit to that Duke offense. They've absolutely dominated to start the year, but I do think Wake Forest gets back on track this weekend. Don't think we'll see Nick Kurtz go hitless again either. So I think they'll be able to get back on track here.
Yeah, and now the third matchup, we have number 6 Tennessee going to number 14 Alabama. Both teams have really good records overall with one loss each, with Tennessee 16-1 and Alabama 15-1. Neither of them have faced amazing competition for a lot of the weeks. Tennessee had a good week 1 where they faced tough teams. That's where they picked up their one loss there. And the rest of the games, pretty easy competition for the most part, and similar with how Alabama's been doing things. But for me, I think Tennessee just has the edge here. I'm going to be sticking with them. We have them ranked higher, and maybe they look just a little bit more complete, especially offensively, where they've been putting up pretty insane numbers so far.
Yeah, I do think Tennessee passes the eye test a little bit better, but I'm going to go with Bama at home here. I think this is going to be a competitive series. I think both teams have pretty similar makeups, really dominating on the offensive side of things and looking good on the mound so far, but haven't played the best competition. So who really knows once you get into those SEC bats and ballparks where the ball just seems to fly. So should be a good weekend, and yeah, I'm going to go with Bama at home.
Nice, finally one where we don't agree. So maybe, at least one of us will get it right here, unlike the previous two. But after that, we have number 8 Clemson going to number 2 Duke. Obviously, Duke has jumped up a bunch in our rankings the past week. You can check out the podcast where we discussed that from earlier this week. But this Duke team just looks like they have it all figured out right now. Super hot. And maybe this Clemson team will be that team to cool them down. But for me personally, I think Duke will just be riding the hot hand here, especially now being at home. I'm gonna be sticking with Duke and expect them to show that they are worthy of that now number 2 spot.
Yeah, Duke's the hottest team in the country right now, coming off that series against number 1 Wake Forest. But I'm gonna pick them to have a hangover weekend here. Wake Forest hasn't really been clicking this whole year, but this Clemson team has. We saw them handle South Carolina in a really competitive series, but they were able to pull off those games. And I just want to pick them to catch Duke sleeping this weekend. I think Clemson showed a lot of grit in that South Carolina series, and I think they're going to be up to the task of playing on the road at Duke.
I like the underdog pick. Switch it up a little bit from, and maybe we'll see some of these things happen. I want to see some competitive series no matter what happens. So, yeah, should be an insane weekend to watch. And then our final series for predictions is number 23 Auburn going to number 13 Vanderbilt. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and choose that Auburn team. I haven't necessarily been super impressed with what they've done, especially the past week against Austin Peay. Super competitive series against a team that they probably should be sweeping. I mean, seems like they have a decent squad there, but Auburn, if they want to be considered a top SEC team and be in that top 25, should be putting up some good numbers there. And I mean, Vanderbilt, we thought they had some struggles earlier in the year, but definitely solidified those concerns from what we've seen the past few weeks have looked pretty solid. But I don't know. I still have my doubts in Vanderbilt from what I predicted preseason. Just thinking that they might be the team that surprises the most people and has a bad year. It is that down year in the SEC, but maybe Florida now fits that bill more. But I'm sticking with Auburn as the upset on the road. And hopefully we'll see some interesting baseball going on there.
Yeah, I think if you asked me to pick this series a week or two ago, I would have taken Auburn, no question, especially with the concerns on Vandy's side of things. But I think they kind of got their mojo back after that round robin, especially that game against Texas, that comeback. I think this team has some swagger now and is playing with some confidence, and so I'm going to take them at home in another prove it series against Auburn.
Nice. So a lot of different picks between the two of us. So probably one of us is gonna go 1-4 again. We'll see who it is there, but yeah, keep your eye out. Check up on Twitter where we're gonna be posting our best bets for the week, where you can guarantee to not win some money from what we choose. But we have some fun with it, and yeah, just stay in the loop there. Check out our Twitter for everything that we're posting, and yeah, stay tuned for some more predictions and running through the previous week of college baseball.